Be sharing with you in this video how to trust yourself and follow through with action. How to actually follow through with action, because the problem is that a lot of people they walk through life and they don't really trust themselves to follow through. Maybe they're debating which plan is better, like which plan should they do, should they go on this path or should they do this path. And it's like a lot of times we can get into a state of indecisiveness simply because we don't trust ourselves to just simply follow through. So I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to do this so that you can really just follow through, be that person you actually desire, and not get locked into this stagnated state of indecisiveness and deciding which plan is better, or should you do this or should you do that. So the first thing that I want to share with you is just simply a technique, which is just to turn off your logical brain. Just practice this. It's a really good technique that you can just follow in your life. Just as you're going through your life, just learn to turn off your brain. Just turn it off. And when you do this, what happens is that, for me personally, what this means for me is consistent action. It becomes, where my action becomes much more consistent, where now I don't really need to be thinking too much about how I'm acting. See, the actions just start to happen naturally. A lot of people try to force action in their life. And I think that there should be a degree of consistency where you do kind of force yourself to take action, in the sense that, you might not feel like taking action at the beginning. But when I say force, I mean you want to snap yourself out of the haze of not wanting to take action and then just do it. And so this is what I mean. It's like, can you do this on command? Can you just turn off your logical brain on command and then just start taking action? This is what's really necessary, I think, to start trusting ourselves and then follow through with action, to really start to follow through and then be that person that we really want to be. Because, why can't we really be the people that we want to be sometimes? It's not that we don't know what we want. You probably already know what you want, most likely. If you don't, then that's a different story. Maybe take some time to, investigate what you desire. But like a lot of the times, truthfully, like we know exactly what we want, and even we know exactly what we need to do to get there. Even a lot of times we even know that much. We even know what we have to do. It's like we just tell ourselves stories that it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And it's like, I don't know what actions to take. It's like, come on, like you know what actions to take if you want to be successful. You definitely do. You actually know what to do. You know who to reach out to, most likely. You know what you should be doing on a daily basis, most likely. The question is, are you willing to just turn off that logical part of your brain and then just do it? Just do what you know you need to do in order to to be the person that you want to be, to get the result. Like if you want a certain result in your life, who do you need to be to get that? What do you need to do to get that? How do you need to show up in your life to get that result? Like, what do you have to do? This is what I think is necessary to start to trust ourselves, to follow through with action. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is that consistency and follow through is more important than the plan. Okay, so really what I'm trying to say here is that, any plan will work if you commit to it. If you commit to it. It's like a lot of people think of like, oh, should I do this plan? Should I do plan A? Or should I do plan B? Or should I do plan C? Like, which plan is the best? And then it's like, oh, should I take this path in life? Or should I take this path in life? Should I do this job? Or should I do this? It's like, what should I do? What decision should I make in my life? And it's like, a lot of the times, what I find really powerful is that it's not about the plan. It's not about the plan. It's never about the plan. If you want to just build follow through, commit to a plan and then follow through. Just commit. Commitment to something is going to be necessary to start to even build follow through, right? But a lot of times it's a lack of commitment where we overthink which decision to make, and then we never even get to the follow through phase because we're thinking too much about which path is better. And it's like, really what I invited and encourage you to do is simply to make a choice. And I talk about this a lot in my videos, but once again, if you don't know which choice it is, that's completely fine. Just simply make a choice anyway and then just follow through. So really, if you just simply commit to something 100%, what you'll find is that that's the energy that you need in order to actually become the person that you want, because you realize that it's not really about the plan. It's never been about the plan. It's never been about, what you're doing, or, which path you go to, or anything like that. None of these things matter. What really matters is your full commitment and devotion to the plan. Because like I said, any plan is going to work. So what I might encourage you to do is to start to walk through your life and stop believing that you can even make a wrong choice to begin with. Because really, ultimately speaking, as long as you're respecting other people, as long as you're not dishonoring other people, in the bigger picture, everything is just a learning experience, and you can't really make a wrong choice. Now, I'm not saying this as usual as an excuse to then go make illogical choices, or be a type of person that you can't really trust yourself to be the person that you want to be, and now you're overcompensating. I'm not saying to overcompensate and then to do things for other people, or to please other people, or to start living a life that you don't want to live. What I'm just inviting you to do is just to remember that at some point you're going to want to commit to a plan, because the suffering that comes from not committing is going to become so great that you almost have no choice but to commit. Because a lot of people, they're thinking so much about which plan to take that they're just not taking action. And that's almost like, if you think about it, it's almost like an excuse to not take action. It's almost just like another procrastination technique that the ego comes up with to stay comfortable in its past, to stay comfortable in who you used to be, and to stay comfortable in this same pattern of doing the same thing every single day and not progressing into a greater version of who you want to be. Now, the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is just remember that oftentimes actual results are going to create confidence for you. That's something to consider as well. So if you want to walk through life and actually trust yourself and follow through with action, just remember that results actually can build up your confidence. It's not always just about that formless part of who you are and then trusting that it's going to work out simply because you hold an intention. It's like you actually have to go out, turn off your mind, take action, be consistent, do this for a long period of time, get a result, and then you're going to be more confident. I think that a lot of us forget that sometimes. It's simply going out into the world, simply actually achieving something, and that's a type of confidence that you get from that. There's definitely a confidence that you build from actually going out and getting a result in your life. Whatever that result is, it's not really about the result. It's just that, are you the type of person to get something if you want it? That can become a self-image in of itself, is you believing that you're the type of person that gets things that you want and that you follow through with your intentions. Some people just simply don't believe that they can follow through with their intentions. They don't trust their own word. And honestly, that's a really sad place to be. If you can't even trust your word, what do you really have? If we don't even have our own word, I'd say what do we really have? We almost have nothing, because nobody's going to trust your word if you can't trust your own word. If you have no self-trust within yourself, nobody's going to have trust within you. And it's how are you going to expect people to trust your word if you can't even trust your own word? And so it's how do you trust your word more? Well, by committing to something and then actually following through, getting a result. And now it's now you trust yourself a little bit more. You trust yourself that the next time you commit to something, you might get a similar result. You might also follow through the same way you did last time. But if you commit to something, you don't even try, you don't follow through with your word, you said you're going to do something and you don't do it, of course that's going to create negativity, and you're going to feel like you're repeating the same thing over and over and living the same experience, and you're just not trading anything new, never talking about anything new, never being a different person, never having different experiences, consistently reliving the same negative experience over and over, simply because you're not bold enough to go do something different that you haven't done and however long that you've been doing the same patterns in your life. It's you need to step out of that comfort zone and get into the discomfort zone, into the stress zone. The stress zone is a good place to be, because you don't want to be in your danger zone. I'm not saying to be in a danger state where you're uncomfortable and you feel unsafe. I'm just saying to get out of your comfort zone and get into a stressful state. Get into a little bit of stress. Comfort is never good, because too much comfort is going to be stressful in the long run anyway. So why not just choose the stress that's actually going to be beneficial for you if you're going to be extremely stressed being too comfortable anyway? Like if you're going to get stressed from being comfortable, you may as well still feel stressed and then become uncomfortable and then get better results in your life and be more wise and be a better human being. You just may as well. You just may as well do it. You know? And then also you're going to get results and you're going to get more confidence as you do this. And I think that's really a key there to start to build that confidence so that you can be a person that actually believes that you're going to get results, that you're going to get to take action and get a result in your life. And if you start to apply these concepts in your life, I'm not guaranteeing it, but I do believe that it's going to help.